Good damn morning, Americans. Who is saying that? What's his name? Jericho Green, huh? Yeah, that's the guy I like. Or maybe I should start as Eddie Murphy did in the movie. Thank you for correcting my English, which stinks. Wasn't that Trading Places? I think it was. Yeah. So anyway, I have a little channel here called TV Tim Sweden. I think this episode will be called TV Tim Sweden America. So the reason for me doing this episode in English is that I got some nice comments from some people when I commented on Rudy Giuliani's show, Common Sense. I got one stupid comment, but most of them were great. So thank you for that. There was one comment that said something about that my input was not needed because I wasn't an American or something like that. Anyway, I am, yes, I'm a Swedish citizen, but I've been to the States since 1987, back and forth. I have my social security number. I have my Florida driver's license. I have my home in Fort Lauderdale. I haven't been there for a while now due to the pandemic and so on, but I'm traveling back and forth. I have my work permit in order, and I've worked in the States back and forth for basically since 1987. So I've been home now in Sweden permanently for a couple of years. My work ended in Florida, and then when I was coming back, the pandemic took over. So I decided to stay in Sweden until everything gets better in the States regarding that. So anyway, I think that my comments could be interesting to many Americans because I am a legal alien when I'm in America. I have my work permit in order. When I didn't have that, I have my ESTA. As I said, I have a driver's license in Florida, my social security number, I have my bank account. So I've always been legal in America. I've been staying mostly in New Jersey, New York, and Miami when I was younger. Last couple of years, since 2012 in Delray Beach. Right now, my friends are in Fort Lauderdale mostly, and in Charlotte, North Carolina, and obviously also up in New York. So anyway, I have met Donald Trump many, many times. There is the Save America rally a couple of weeks ago. I met him in the late 80s, early 90s in Manhattan when he actually helped us getting a Swedish golf cart, a special nice golf cart made of mahogany wood and brass. And he guided us to the best golf stores in Manhattan. So that was the first time I met him briefly, a couple of minutes. We met him again at a golf course in Florida in the early 2000s, basically just a hello, something like that. But then I started to be a part of Team Trump, so to say, just ahead of the 2016 election. We met some people that worked with him in Mar-a-Lago, and we got to tell him through these connections that we were supporting him. I was a part of Swedish radio, Swedish state television. I was a guest there as a so-called Trump expert. And me and a couple of friends, we are supporting Trump here in Sweden because there are many American citizens living in Sweden and living in Scandinavia and also in Europe. And we thought that it was crucial that the truth comes out even here. I mean, our media is basically copying CNN. So you can understand what's written and said about Trump over here. So I was invited to Swedish radio and Swedish television in front of ahead of the 2016 election. And I said that I believed he was going to win due to these factors. I talked a lot about unemployment. I talked a lot about the fact that Trump was a businessman and that I thought that America needed a leader who was looking into the economics behind the country and also energy, infrastructure, building the wall, of course, because illegal immigration, to me, it makes no sense. If you're a nation, you have to have borders. I mean, we have borders in Sweden, but our government is not really following their own rules here. Norway and Denmark, especially Finland, are much tougher than we are regarding illegal immigration. So I thought it's crazy to the people living in Texas and California that so many people are coming to the States with no legal documents and so many crimes. And what's the policy called again? Catch and release and all that. So yeah, so I supported Trump in regards of that. And I placed a bet that he was going to win the 2016 election, and he did. So I won too. We went to a rally in Miami at his Doral Golf Club over there. I have posted this little film I had when I met him there many, many times on my Swedish YouTube channel. And he was very, very nice to me. Me and my Swedish friend Rolf, we met him. After the rally, he came into the bar. A lot of Swedish people were there, actually. There's a lot of Swedish Americans in Florida, in New Jersey, and of course in Minnesota. But yeah, so I talked to him a little bit. I got a selfie with him. And I said, Donald, please buy Sweden and make us great again. And I might, and this, he said something like, I might take you up on that offer. And then years later, he was trying to buy Denmark or actually Greenland, but that was so funny. A week later after this rally, my friend Rolf calls me. I was in the shower in Delray Beach, my apartment there. And he goes, Tim, Donald is talking about us on CNN. And I was like, get out of here. What are you talking about? Come over here right now. So I ran out there to the living room, and Donald was saying something to the effect that I met these two Swedish guys at my golf club the other day after a rally. And I must say, they're smarter than most Democrats because they asked me to buy Sweden and make it great again. So I might take them up on their offer. And he was laughing. And I was like, that's definitely it. Nobody else could have said that than me. So that was kind of funny. So anyway, so I have followed Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson. I almost said Good Morning America, but you know what I mean, the morning show there on Fox and Friends, and compared that to MSDNC and CNN and New York Times and Washington Post and so on. And then I have added that to comments and to shows here in Sweden. I was a part on live television on November 4th, the election night, and actually the Swedish state television, SVT, who definitely is against Trump. They are also against all of the right-wing, so-called right-wing party here in Sweden. It's called SD, the Sweden Democrats, who have 20 to 25% of the votes, and still they're considered a non-democratic party. I don't understand that. 25% of the Swedish voters votes for them, and it's not democracy, they say, the Social Democrats who's running the country. And in America, I guess they say that 75 million people or whatever it was voted for Trump. That's not democracy. So I don't know what's going on in the world. So anyway, during this night, the Swedish TV people there congratulated me and a friend that, oh yeah, it looks like Trump is winning again, and so on. And then hours later, in the early morning, in the late night on the East Coast America time, they started to talk about ballots coming into Pennsylvania and other swing states and so on. So I figured this is crazy. And I don't know, of course, but I don't believe that DJT got 75 million and that the Sleepy Papa got 80. It's ridiculous to me. I can't prove it. Nobody can prove it, I guess. But I'm checking out Lindell TV, of course, and Frank's Speech, and looking at those documentaries at least gives you, some doubts. What actually happened on November 4th last year? So I've always liked Rudy Giuliani. I met Rudy in New York many times during the 90s. I think he cleaned up that ghetto really, really good. I know some people don't approve of the tactics he used. What's it called again? Stop and frisk, something like that, right? We need that in Sweden, definitely. We have big problems with gang violence, rapes, shootings. The Islamic organizations are growing and growing in Sweden, and it's not the same country as it was before. Of course, big areas like northern Sweden, mountains, lakes, nature, no problems up there. I'm talking down south here, Malmö, where I live, and Stockholm, Gothenburg, close to Copenhagen in Europe. It's we have some big problems here. So yeah, I'm working on that too in regards of my Swedish channel, TV Tim Sweden. So I'm doing this show here just for some American friends and due to your comments there on Rudy's Common Sense. And I think I'm going to continue to do some episodes in English because as I speak, I hear that I haven't been speaking English for a couple of years really daily. So again, Eddie Murphy, thank you for correcting my English, which stinks. I guess most of it gets out anyway, what I mean. So I followed everything from January 6th. I listened to Donald's speech there ahead of the demonstrations outside the Capitolium. And I must say that what they're doing on the left side in your country is completely crazy. That's actually what I'm getting at here. Because I'm living in Sweden and I have been in the States, like I said, back and forth, basically every year since '87, sometimes only a week, mostly 2, 3, 4 months a year. So some years, 7, 8 months a year. So I guess I should say that, or I could say that I have been in the States almost half my life since '87. So I'm turning 56 on Thursday. So I just, I can't get into my head how you Americans, and I say you Americans, I mean those of you Americans who are voting for that party who is running your country now. You have this critical RA theory thing, absolutely mad. You have this gender thing, absolutely crazy. We have the same thing in Sweden. We don't have the big troubles as you have with a fitna or with the, as we call them, the Bengaluru mafia. We don't have the same problems as you have in America, but it's coming here. It's growing. We have the gender discussions. We have the hen. A he in Sweden is a han. A she in Sweden is a hun. So han and hun. Now we have hen, which is in between. Great stuff, okay? So we have the PRIDE situation, and the police are falling in that trap. We have the Premier League soccer in England that we are following here in Sweden, and they are kneeling to the Bengaluru mafia. Benga in Swedish means dumbass, so you can figure out what I mean when I say the Bengaluru mafia. And that's the Formula One circus too. Hamilton, the so-called colored race driver in the Formula One, forcing everybody to kneel for that mafia. And yeah, the same thing with the English soccer now. They took over the European Championship, and had some countries kneeling, but none of the other countries in Europe did it. And they actually laughed and booed when the English players came to other countries and did that, because they're not supporting Black people in America. They're not doing anything about the shootings in Chicago, in Baltimore, in Portland, in Seattle. They're doing absolutely nothing about that. So look at the people who started that organization. Beep, beep. And I don't know, because this channel can take me down for nothing. I mean, I have friends that's been canceled and censored. And I just heard now that they censored and took out all of the guy behind me there, his speech at the CPEC the other day in Texas. So, that's just something that I'm afraid of, that we are not even allowed to say what we want. You don't have to scare people. You don't have to lie, but you have to be able to say that this is what I think, this is what I believe. And I think that a lot of things that are happening in America in America today is insane. You have a vice president who is a racist. If there is anybody who is that, it's she. Why? Because she's telling you that colored people is too dumb to get their own color pictured ID. They're too dumb to find a copying machine and to send in a ballot proving who they are. How in the goddamn can you have an election without proving who you are? How can you have elections where you can prove that dead people are voting, you don't have the correct address, you're living in the wrong state, you're voting here and there, and possibly illegals voting? I can't prove that. I'm asking, how is that even possible? In Sweden, we have a bank ID thing here in our cell phone, a cell phone bank ID. And we have in the computer, you have to go in and log in and prove that you're you. When we use banking online, whatever we do, when we vote, we got to go there and show our passport or our driver's license or an ID. Or you have to log in to your bank ID, which is 100% proof that it's you. And if you don't have that, you don't have fair elections, I think. So you have the problems in America with violence, with the organizations burning down your cities. Like I just said, Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis. What's going on, people? And one of the reasons I wanted to make this episode for you guys over there is my Swedish view of America, because I've been to America, as I said, since 1987. I love America. That's why I'm there. So I love Florida. I love the beaches. I love the restaurants. I love the people. I love the boats, the golf. I know a lot of famous Swedish golfers. I know a lot of famous Swedish tennis players. I even work with them. You know, I love New York. I used to love Manhattan. I don't think I can go there anymore because, as far as I understand from friends, there is not the same. Mayor de Blasio and the crazy guy Como, they're just insane. How can people vote for them? What is the power factor, or what is any factor about voting for these people? Who are voting for them, and what's their purpose? Is it only Trump deranged syndrome, or what else can there be? I mean, everybody's saying America, the greatest land in the world and the freest land in the world. But I don't understand what you mean by that anymore. It might have been, but it's not anymore. First of all, if you're run by the guy in the White House, who everybody knows doesn't have an elevator going all the way up to the top floor, and if you have an RA cyst as vice president, who doesn't even go to your border to the correct place, and who is doing nothing for the Black communities, what's the freest and what's the best with America then? Where are your freedoms if you allow big TECH companies blocking what you say, censoring your president, censoring me, maybe censoring a lot of people, taking down channels? What's free about that? What's free about closing down Rudy Giuliani's possibility to work in New York and now in Washington? What's free about that? What makes America the greatest country in the world to you when all of this is happening? So excuse me for being frank. I love America. I hope that you can correct the situation. And maybe you were the greatest land, the greatest country at some point, even though you've always had problems with, racial problems and demonstrations, all the way back to, as far as I remember, so to say, through my staying in America and watching documentaries. I mean, Martin Luther King, you have had racial problems and so-called racism all the time. There's been violence in the streets and gun violence all along in America. So there are many things that makes me a little worried when you say that you're the freest and the best country in the world. I can say that you're probably the best big country in the world, but you're not close to Sweden when it comes to the best country in the world. And what do I mean with that? I'm not critical of you, Americans. I'm not critical of America. I'm critical of the possibility that you can block people and censor people and maybe putting the wrong person in the White House and so on, and still call yourself a free country. That's not free to me. In Sweden, we don't have even close to the gun violence or criminality or anything else, even in a small state in America compared to one state or any state you want. And it's safe, it's clean. It's a small country. Yeah, we have a great soccer team. We have great hockey teams. We have people from all over the world. In Malmö here, we have over 200 nationalities. We have people from Africa, Middle East, Italy, Spain, Greece, many Americans, English people, Russians. We have people from all over. And the problems we have with that are very, very tiny compared to America. Of course, you're a much, much bigger country, but still, what's being done about it, so to say? Ron DeSantis in Florida, I think he's doing a good job. I think that Abbott is doing a good job in Texas. Could be better, but he's okay there. But what's going on with California? Newsom. What's going on with New York? Like I said, de Blasio and Cuomo, these people are crazy. What's going on with the mayor Lightfoot in Chicago? She's totally nuts. And who's running Washington State and Oregon and Minnesota? I don't even know their names on the top of my head right now. But these are failing states in so many ways. So I would just like to ask you, beg you to please make America great again so that it can be the best country in the world again, because I feel that my New York is not my New York anymore. My Miami, my Delray Beach, my Fort Lauderdale, my Vero Beach, my Hope Sound, all of those towns, Tampa, Orlando, is still the same. I feel the same when I'm there. And like I said, I haven't been there now for a couple of years, but I'm going in September. And I know my friends are saying, Tim, it's great here. But my friends in the other towns I just mentioned in New York, they say, don't come. It's a shithole here. I have a great friend from Portland, a famous American artist, singer, songwriter. He has a very good band. I don't want to say his name because I don't have his permission to that. He lives in Czechia now, and he was against Trump for all these years from 2015 till recently, before this last election. And he called me the other week and he said, Tim, you were right. It was so much better with DJT. And I think he wins again. And I hope he will win again in 2024, he said. And he believes that it would be great to have DeSantis as his running mate for vice president. What do you guys think about that? I mean, what's going on? Should he run DJT? Will he win if he does? Or are there too many rhinos, too many Republicans? I just heard Jenna Ellis today, and she said that she is getting out of the GOP. She's canceling her membership at with the Republican Party due to the fact that so many Republicans are fake and against DJT. I know there is a great support for him. I mean, huge support. I mean, I should say. I love this channel, Right Side Broadcasting Network. I watch them all the time. Newsmax. I watch Lindell TV. I watch Frank's speech. And of course, I watch all of these YouTube channels. And I watch stuff on Rumble and so on. And then I read the Swedish newspapers over here, and the Danish and the Norwegian. And it's all trashing Trump still. Nobody's talking about the fact that the old fart in the White House has basically destroyed the America I love in 5 to 6 months. It's just terrible to me. So anyway, I'm not going to make this a long episode. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Tim. I'm from Sweden. I am an American patriot. I will do more episodes of this channel, TV Tim Sweden /America. I'm going to interview friends, American friends over here, citizens of the United States, so you can hear what they say, living in Sweden compared to America. I'm not saying that Sweden is better than America per se, 100%. It's a small country versus a big country. You can't do it like that. I'm just saying that it's dangerous for you guys to go around and say on each channel, day by day, we're the best country in the world, we're the freest country in the world. Actually, I think you're not. You were, and you have to fight for it. Who said something like this? I mean, I know that Donald said it, but there was some guy who said this. Was it Ronald Reagan? That you're only a generation away from losing your country or your democracy or the way of life that you want? You're about to. You're close to. I mean, I follow the Rubin Report. I follow Jericho Green. I follow the Officer Tatum. I follow all of these other black guys, so to say, and their channels, and they're scared too. I mean, I hear people working at Fox. Fox has been sort of a mini micro CNN, but still, there are some good guys over there still. But again, I think that you really, really have to make up your mind how hard you want to work for your country. Because if you don't get a Republican president in 2024, if you don't win the Congress next year, back the House, if you don't get your schools and the school union to stop teaching what they're teaching your kids, if you don't get the insanity of illegal immigration and open borders corrected, you are close to the Reagan words. I think it was Ronald Reagan. You're close to losing your country. That's what I'm scared of. So, okay. Take care, Americans. And remember, Team Sweden is on your side. And as Jericho says, subscribe, push that bell, because every time you do, a piece of shit liberal cries. Man,